when a doctor does say to someone, hey, you need to, we'll leave the nutrition conversation for another day, but you need to change your diet and you need to be more active or do more exercise. What exactly are we talking about when we're talking about when a doctor's asking someone to be active? Are they seriously expecting everyone to join gyms? I mean, where now that you've having stepped into that role of physical activity, what's your take on that?
So we're told to regurgitate that sentence, be active and go do stuff, but if you actually look at the guidelines, there's actually a fairly robust set of guidelines that say what every individual in the country should be aiming towards. So I think every physician, prescriber should know these guidelines, but essentially for adults aged 19 to 64, 65, the government says everyone should aim for at least 150 minutes of physical activity in 1 week. And we should try and do it for at least 10 minutes as a minimum in each session we do, which isn't a lot of activity if you think about it. But the nice thing about the research here is they say aim for at least 150 minutes, but even if you do less, there's still health benefit. So it's not, telling the most sedentary person to go out for 2.5 hours. You can start small and start low and, build up slowly. So, that is kind of the minimum goal, 150 minutes a week of cardiovascular exercise. And the nice thing as well is they consider cardiovascular, but they also talk about strength training. They say every adult should endeavor to strength train twice a week. And that doesn't mean, go to the gym and bench or deadlift or squat or do something that you don't particularly enjoy. This could be anything. They even say carrying heavy shopping bags. If you can do that at least twice a week for a significant amount of time, it's something. So they're quite liberal in what they say you can do, which I think is good because not every form of exercise is the best for each individual, and it's hard to make generalizing comments. You and I like going to the gym, but it would be, you can't tell everyone to go to the gym. It's not everyone's cup of tea.
So 150 minutes of physical activity over the course of the week. If we divide that by 7, it's roughly 21. Yeah, so we're looking at 21 minutes of physical activity each day, which, everyone's life is different. To some people, that's a large chunk of time, and I don't have time. And as you quite rightly said, it can be broken down into smaller bite-sized chunks. So we're not expecting, the guys aren't expecting everyone to have that 20-minute block available to you. But if we can find a few minutes in our day and we can accumulate this time, and I think this is something also where the gym, sort of the gym culture or the fitness culture kind of, we have this, I don't know where this has come from. It's probably come from the fitness industry at some point in time. But we have this idea of an hour, right?
Yeah.
You go to the gym and it's like, I'm going to be here for an hour. Like an exercise class is an hour. It's like, I don't know where that started or where that came from. And I think recently it's changed where people go, no, we can make more money if we charge for half an hour and with the express classes and all this stuff. Anyway, but we're not talking about a big chunk of time here, are we? And let's just talk about, we'll talk about strength training for sure. We're definitely going to get into that. But that 150 minutes, you mentioned cardiovascular activity. So what would count as physical activity? Because if we'd say cardiovascular activity, automatically people's minds are going towards running, cycling, swimming, rowing, those that are exercise minded. But for those that are not, what constitutes as this physical activity of 150 minutes that they can do?
So on kind of a physiological level, anything that will raise your heart rate. So when we talk about the 150 minutes activity, they actually specify, moderate intensity. And they actually have a long list of exercises which they class as moderate intensity and vigorous intensity. I haven't got the list in front of me now, but from memory, it's not, the easiest of exercise, but walking briskly counts as moderate. Gardening, that might even be vigorous, to be honest, because if you're gardening properly, hands and knees, it's tough work. But literally any exercise that gets your heart rate up, so walking briskly, obviously all the cardiovascular typical exercises, running, swimming, cycling, those will all do it. Dancing, anything that gets your heart rate up counts. So people have the freedom to do the activities that they enjoy.